Now at the plate for the Vipers, number 13, Alex Galan. Good evening and welcome to Mustang Field. This is Mark Barchi, the voice of the Mustangs, joining you on the fourth batter. We're just a little bit late starting the broadcast today, but this is the Lake Buena Vista Vipers taking on your Wekiva High School Mustangs. Top of the first inning, we've already seen Ben Ruth, Luis Ramos, and Brian Stockwell. Currently we have Alex Galan at the plate for Lake Buena Vista. I'm going to be a little bit quiet while I finish setting up the rosters. Again, I got started a little bit late today. I'm going to set up the roster so that we can have the graphics at the bottom of your screen be accurate for the rest of the game. And then we'll get back to calling the game. Galan walks to first, and that will load up the bases for first baseman, number 22, Vinnie Moore. Okay, so, and for those of you listening on the broadcast, you're going to hear me giving some instruction to the Wekiva TV broadcast production students, so you get a little inside baseball, if you'll pardon the pun, as we get things set up. So, guys, if you want to come over and take a look at what I'm setting up here. So, the first thing I need to do is load in the roster so that we can put the batter and the pitcher at the bottom of the screen accurately. So, this is going to be Lake Buena Vista, Varsity, Boys, Baseball. Which baseball and softball use the same settings, so those are together. And then I'm just going to go right down the roster here. 2, 5, 6, 9, 11, 13, 14, 20, 21, 22, 23, 25, 26, 42. That's going up. And it's fought for by Wekiva, but caught nonetheless. Fly catch is made for the Mustangs by Andre Moya. 2 away for the Vipers. Next at the plate, catcher number 9, Juan Romero. So the goal is that we can put that at the bottom of the screen on the batter ID. So that's what we're going to do right now. Got Ben Ruth, Luis Ramos, Logan, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that, Ekthuvapranee. Juan Romero, Zach Fournier, Alex Galan, Juan Quintero, Ryan Stockwell. Felipe Montilla. Any more? Jeremy. Connor Quinn. Lewis Soto. Ahmed Khan. Okay. All right, so I've got the roster loaded in now. I've got all 14 names for Lake Buena Vista in. Now I'm going to check Wekiva's roster. And I don't need to load that too, apparently. Fly catch is made, and that takes us to the middle of the first inning. We remain scoreless with 3 left on base at the end of half an inning. Want to let those of you in the ballpark know we are live streaming this game. If you have friends and family back in Lake Buena Vista, elsewhere in Apopka, or anywhere in the world, and they were not able to join us in person for this evening's game, we are live streaming, and you can find that on our YouTube channel, Wekiva Sports, or on the NFHS network. Those of you already doing that, we welcome you to the broadcast. Again, you're getting a little bit of inside baseball here while we get the broadcast set up and finish getting the rosters, but at a minimum, we wanted to get the feed online so you can go ahead and start looking at that. Okay, so Wekiva has a ton of people on their roster. I'm not going to enter all of them right now. I'm going to enter the 10 that I need for the starting lineups because we'll get to the rest later. So I'm going to add 10 rows to my Google Sheet here. And so that's going to be Wekiva, Varsity, Boys, Baseball. How you doing? Good. Feeling better?
Getting back to 100%.
All right.
A little gradual climb, but how you been?
I've been all right. Aware that it's senior night next week. Is there something more than that? Okay. Okay.
Senior night for softball is on Tuesday. Lubin plays his open play-in district game on Monday for boys volleyball against Evans at 6 o'clock.
Okay.
And then, of course, Tommy's coming up with his districts next week for flag football, too. I don't know exactly who he plays yet, but as soon as I have that, I can pass that along to him. But I just know it's next week. And it'll probably be early week.
Yes, I know we're a little bit unsure of who it's probably going to be 3 versus 6. Wekiva will be 3. We don't know who will be 6. Wekiva will be favored in that game, and then they'll probably have to face Apopka. Oh, I was talking about flag football, but yeah. And so it'll most likely the semifinal be against Apopka. Championship would be favored to be against Dr. Phillips unless a major upset happens. Yeah, track's been good this year. Yes, I think I should be able to be here for that. I had that on my calendar. As we enter the bottom of the first inning, the leadoff hitter for the Mustangs, second baseman number 3, Dalton Varney. Yeah. Yes, he did. Yeah, what you want to score that as a double or an E8?
I always err on the hit for the high schoolers when
All right,
that's when it's right at them.
we'll call it a double. Varney doubles into center field. He's safe at second. Next to the plate, center fielder number 1, C.J. Goodwin. Yep, we have rebooted it twice this week, and it's still not working. It's the computer that's the issue this time. Yeah, probably, which they should be able to provide for us. Okay, guys, if you want to take a look, I finished adding it in. So first thing I did was I went over here to the player tab. I added all the players that I need. I didn't add all the Wekiva players because that would take too long, but I added the 10 that are in the starting lineup. Then I went over here to the rosters, and I put them in order so that because they're sorted in numerical order, but I need them in lineup order. So I put the lineup order next to them, and then I did the same thing for visitors. So now what that does is it gives me the batting order, which is on this tab. So the batting order will pull this, and the visitor batting order will pull this. And the other thing I need to do is I need to specify the starting pitcher for each team. So for Wekiva, the starting pitcher is Zion McCoy, so I'm going to select him. And for other tab, where's visitor starters? Here it is. For visitor, it's Soto is the starting pitcher. So now that I've selected all of that, when I come back to VMix here, you'll see that, was that a strikeout? Is that a strikeout? Okay. Soto records the swinging strikeout against Greg Jones, two away for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, first baseman number 20, Demir Simon. So we've got a runner on third, so I'm going to push 3 to change that up here. We have 2 outs, so I'm going to put that up. There we go, so 2 outs, and then I'm going to select the correct batter, which is Simon. Not sure why the pitcher still hasn't updated. The pitcher should be Soto. Let's see.
Get down!
All right, well, there you go. Dalton Varney steals home. Mustangs on the board. All right, so we're going to give Wekiva a run. So I'm going to push the button here to put it on the scoreboard in the ballpark, and I'm going to push the button here to put it on the scoreboard on the broadcast. And Wekiva also has a hit, so I'm going to give... All right, I'm just going to reload the score bug because it's... Why is it still saying Ocello? It should be saying Soto.
So you think it needs a new computer?
Yeah,
Let's
see, Visitor pitcher.
I know something, a piece of information I was going to give you. We are now playing Miami Norland High School in the spring game, who we played in the preseason classic last year. They're coming here on May 20th, Friday night. You know, we're going to have us play Lake Grambling, who we play next year in the regular season, and Coach Schwartz didn't want to do that. And I have most of the schedule completed for next fall, so I can share that with you. First three are home games, Olympia, Ocoee, and Lake Mineola, the first 3 Fridays. And then we're on the road 4 out of the next 5 weeks.
I saw they posted it from their Twitter. Strikeout. That takes us to the end of the first inning. Mustangs putting 1 run on the board on 1 hit with no Viper errors, leaving none on base, and the score stands 1-0 at the end of 1 inning. Oh, I was saying I saw their the schedule they posted on Facebook, I think. Yeah. Well, I saw it on Facebook. It's probably in the Chief too. I got to turn on.
Next year. And you saw what our district was, right? Edgewater, Jones, and Horizon. It's not going to be a. But the thing about it is both Edgewater, Jones, and Apopka are all home next year. Yeah, Edgewater, Jones, and Apopka are all home games. So one of those 3 games will be senior night, and one of those 3 games will be homecoming. So I told Coach Schwartz, I said, roll up your sleeves and get ready to go to work. We don't have a preseason classic game yet. We're trying to work on it. The only one that we've had to even offer is Pinellas Park High School in Largo, but we would have to go to them, which is not a big deal. But we have 6 home games next year. Like I said, the first 3 weeks of the season, and Edgewater, Jones, which is 6, 8, and 10. I think are the weeks, because we're bye week is week 9. So.
All right, so if you want, you can co-host with me here in a second because Neil's not here today. All right, so you guys kind of saw what I did there. I put the roster in, then I set the starters based on the roster order. So when I push the next batter button on this controller, it will change the batter according to the order that's on the lineup card. So it'll keep the audience informed of who's batting and who's pitching at any given time. And then I also have buttons here to keep the count. I have buttons here for runs, hits, and errors. And then I have buttons here that will light up the bases like that. So we're going to empty. There we go. Now I also have two camera. I think I have 2 camera angles available. So I have the high shot there, which one of you can run if you want. And then I have the backstop shot, which is a little crooked. We could use to straighten that out a little bit. So if one of you would like, all right, that's ball 1. If one of you can go straighten the backstop camera, see how it's a little bit tilted left. It needs to come about maybe 2 or 3 degrees up. And then whoever else wants to, I get strike 1 there. So then one of you, it doesn't matter which one, if you want to go up and run this camera that's sitting up there. Let me give you a little instruction first, though. So when the ball is not in play, I want to see this much at least. I want to see from the pitcher's mound to the catcher. If there is a runner on third, then you can zoom, or second or third, then you can zoom it out a little bit more so that we can see the runner. But normally, I want to. If there's nobody on base and the ball is not in play, then I'm interested in seeing from the pitcher's mound to the backstop, and that's the angle I want to see. If the ball does get put into play, then you can track the action. You can pan the camera out to the outfield. If it goes to the outfield, if there's a runner headed toward first, you can zoom in on them headed toward first. You just want to keep as much of the action in view as you can, but then tighten the shot on wherever the action is. All right, so we've got, that was 23. Fournier, in the 7th position of the lineup, starts off the 2nd inning and walks to first. Next at the plate, designated hitter number 23, Jeremy Carlucci Harris. Caught stealing at second, one away for the Vipers. That's pretty close. That's close enough that I don't want to mess with it anymore. So here's what I'm going to do, because that GoPro is broadcasting at a much higher resolution than we are actually sending. So what I'm going to do is, that's actually a wider shot than I need. That's the beauty of using a GoPro, because the traditional Panasonics are great for like actually following the action. They're not so great for doing the backstop because they can't get the whole field. The GoPro is a very wide angle lens, so you've got frankly more field than I need there. So what I'm going to do, since there's no zoom on a GoPro, I am going to zoom it manually using vMix. So I'm going to get about that much, and then I'm going to pan it down a little bit because I don't need quite that much ground. And I'm going to rotate it, not too much, maybe just 1/4 of a degree. There we go. So now I can cut to that shot, and that looks a little better than it did before. And so now I got 2 good shots I can use. So like I said, if somebody wants to run the camera up there, just keep the pitcher and the batter in view, and then follow the action when the action happens. Play is made from Moya to Simon on the 5-3. 2 away for the Vipers. Next at the plate, right fielder number 14, Juan Quintero. All right, so a ball has hit the backstop, and that rotation correction that I applied is no longer useful. So we're going to reset that, and we're going to do about a 0.05 correction to the z-axis. That should be about right. It's inside. Quintero walks to first. Next up, the Vipers return to the top of the lineup with second baseman number 2, Ben Ruth. Ball 1. Oh. Ruth takes a shot to his back. He'll advance to first. Next at the plate, as Ruth takes first base, is shortstop, number 5, Luis Ramos. Okay, so that would be an example. I mean, I can't talk to the person who's actually running the camera right now. That would be an example of where you could tighten up on second base because there was a play attempted at second there. Either of you know the sport of baseball well?
I know it.
I was going to say, if you want to be my co-host, Neil is not here, so. All right, I'll just set that aside in case somebody wants it later. Third pitch away, it's catches the outside low corner for a strike. High fastball, we'll put up ball 2. Connection made, headed to first. Gonna need some help. Can he get there in time? Yes. Unassisted play is made at first base by Demir Simon, and that will take us to the middle of the second inning. No runs, no hits, no errors, and 2 left on base. We'll be right back. As we enter the bottom of the second inning, the Mustangs begin in the 5th position of their lineup with pitcher number 2, Zion McCoy. All right, so you see these streaming indicators up here at the top of the screen, and they're blinking red and yellow. This is one of the rare cases. Red is good. Red means that the stream are not necessarily getting a great experience. That means the video is cutting in and out for them. They're getting buffering. The video may be freezing up at times. So what I need you to do is take a cable, and this is a 100-foot Ethernet cable. This will give us a better connection. One end of this, and good way to get my cable. Alright. Let me see if that's... About another 3 feet.
So we have to.
Follow me with the cart. What we're going to do is, because I don't want to be blocking these people's view, we're going to set up between the 2 stands. Just make sure I don't pull any cords. That's what I'm trying to not run over. This cart is impossible to move on grass. Come on, toward me. Or otherwise the whole thing goes down.
What do you mean? What did I do?
That was just the... Everything else is still on. I just don't have monitor. Something came loose on the monitor. Oh no? Okay. Alright. Oh great. Well, hopefully it'll be better quality in a minute once I get it plugged into a hardwire. We're on the Wi-Fi now, and the Wi-Fi McCoy opens up the bottom of the third inning with a single right down the middle. He's safe at first. Next to the plate for the Mustangs, left fielder number 15, Jackson Zapata. And apologies for the technical difficulties. We had a little glitch there when we moved the broadcast rig so that we could connect the computer to a hardwired internet. It popped out the audio cable. So apologies, you had a very quiet half inning. But we are all connected up now. We are connected to hardwired internet, so you should get a good quality broadcast for the remainder of the game. We've got it connected to a hardwired Ethernet cable now. We've got our audio plugged back in. We've got our cameras in place, so we should be good to go for the rest of the broadcast. And thanks for your patience with us while we got all that put together. High ball and a stolen base. Zapata fouls that one to the backstop. That'll bring up a 2-2 count. High ball brings up a full count. Chopping away at that one. It'll stay full count. Next to the plate for the Mustangs with one away now. Catcher number 17, Luis Perez. It's the second time we've seen Wekiva steal home tonight. Pitch away, curve falls low and outside, and a swing and a miss on the foul, or connection rather, but it'll bring up the first strike. High fastball. timeout here. Meanwhile, since we got the broadcast started a little late, you didn't have a chance to see the Wekiva lineup, so we'll put that up for you now. Varney, Goodwin, Jones, Simon, McCoy, Zapata, Perez, that's where we are now, and Brandenburg along with Rodriguez. And then Andre Moy is fielding in third base for Brandenburg. Two away now for the Mustangs. Next at the plate, designated hitter number 18, Aiden Brandenburg. And we'll start with strike one. Low and outside. It's a wild pitch. No one on to take advantage of it, but it brings up a 1-1 count. That one's in play. And it goes straight to the shortstop for the lineout. Play is made by number 5, Luis Ramos, and that will take us to the end of the third inning. In that half inning, Wekiva scoring 1 run on 1 hit with no Viper errors, leaving none on base, and the score now stands 6-0 at the end of 3 innings. Once again, we'd like to invite you to join us for senior night for both baseball and softball. It's going to be on back-to-back days. Baseball senior night will be Monday, just before their 7 o'clock first pitch against Evans. And then the softball team will be having senior night on Tuesday, and that will be just before their 5 o'clock start against Dr. Phillips. You get the complete schedule on our website, wekivamustangs.com. We also encourage you to follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube. We are at Wekiva Sports on all of those services. In particular, on YouTube, we are currently at 1,943 subscribers, so 57 away from 2,000. That would be a great milestone to hit by the end of our 15th anniversary season. You can help us do that. Just go to Wekiva Sports on YouTube and hit subscribe. We'll let you know anytime we've got a live stream ready to go for you. As we enter the top of the 4th inning, The Vipers will begin in the 6th position of their lineup with catcher number 9, Juan Romero. And Romero gets beaned. He'll take first base. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, for the Vipers, center fielder number 11, Zach Fournier. Fournier advances to first. That puts runners at 1 and 2 for designated hitter number 23, Jeremy Carlucci Harris. Two and two count now for the Vipers. This is Jeremy Carlucci Harris at the plate. That's a high fastball, and it brings up a full count. Runners at 1 and 2. That's going in play. And it is caught. Catch is made in left field for the Mustangs by Greg Jones. One away. Next at the plate for LBV, right fielder number 14, Juan Quintero. And we'll start with a strike. Pull out a little more. There you go. That's what I need. That was a ball. Brings up a 1-1 count.
This shot right here, this is a good default shot. If there isn't a reason to be looking at anything else, that was a good default shot. Now on the previous play, I wish he would have panned out to center field, or left field rather, where the catch was made. Because I didn't have any camera that had a shot of Jones making a play in left field. This is a mediocre shot of that. So this gives you a mediocre shot. You can see him hanging out there way in the corner. So you can see that the play was made, but it's a tiny little fraction of the shot.
High outside fastball brings up a full count for Quintero at the plate. McCoy records the strikeout. That puts 2 away for the Viper. 2, Ben Ruth. Great name for a baseball player. The curve catches the outside corner of the strike zone. 0-1. Chopping that one. This should be a 1-3 ground out. And it is. Play is made on the throw from McCoy to Simon, and that takes us to the middle of the 4th inning. No runs on no hits with no Mustang errors. Leaving 2 on. And the score remains 6-0 at the end of 3.5. As we enter the bottom of the 4th inning, the Mustangs will begin in the 9th position of their lineup with, and we start with a low outside ball. It gets away from the catcher. Nobody on base to take advantage, but it brings up a 1-0 count. That one pops up and bounces off for an error. Next at the plate for Wekiva, they return to the top of the card with second baseman number 3, Dalton Varney.
Baseball's not as fast paced. What do you think of all this though? Is this cool?
It was cool, but it's a lot more. It's different from what I seen.
But what was the last thing you did?
The last one I did was like basketball. It was football for the girls. Like the second 9 weeks, I think.
Oh yeah, we had just gotten all that. So it was just one button here, one button there. Shortcuts for the bases too. Oh, that's awesome.
Pause here for a little timeout.
All in your files. Okay. I almost sound like a failure. It sounds like I have that card opening.
You were like literally 5 feet away from me.
The battery though.
We got some live running going as another error gets picked up.
Josh seems excited.
He was literally just standing there.
Next at the plate for the Mustangs, center fielder number 1, C.J. Goodwin. Goodwin beats the throw to first and picks up the RBI as Varney comes home. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, right fielder number 14, Greg Jones. And that'll be another error. You can't get an error on a stolen base. No matter how bad the throw is, it's never an error for a successful stolen base, but it is an error if you get an extra base after the stolen base because of a botched throw. We pick up a strike at the plate. And a little scoring correction there at the bottom. I neglected to score Rodriguez earlier, so we'll fix that now. 8 runs for the Mustangs. That one's going in play. And we got a runner coming home with a hit. Greg Jones picks up an RBI triple. That'll score Goodwin and put a runner at third for the Mustangs. Next to the plate for Wekiva, center fielder number 20, Demir Simon. So I want to welcome to the broadcast our broadcast production teacher, Keith Dickerson, who has a few of his students here with us tonight. As we get a wild pitch, possibility to get a run scored on that, and we do.
I think you're up to 10 now.
Yes, I actually still need to put up the score from the last one. I put it up in the ballpark. I never put it on the bug at the bottom of the screen.
Not a backseat driver.
No. Thank you for letting me know. I sometimes forget that we're testing out some new stuff here on the broadcast, and so I've got separate controls for what operates the scoreboard here in the ballpark and what operates the little bug you see there at the bottom of your screen. Chopping away at that one, it's going to foul away down the third base line. Brings up a 1-1 count.
I got a wacky question for you because I'm getting here late. I noticed we switched dugouts.
Yes, that is, I asked about that the other day. And oh, by the way, I should also make a note that Galan is pitching now. Snuck in when I was not looking, so I'll fix that on the bug shortly here as well. Yes, so Wekiva wanted to switch dugouts. Originally, Wekiva used the dugout on the third base line, which is where it was made to be because that's where they have the press box and the coach's office up above that dugout. But Wekiva made the decision this year that they wanted to follow the MLB tradition of having the home dugout on the first base line. So that's you're coming across when you score. You're coming toward the first base dugout. That's an MLB tradition. They wanted to stick with it, so they traded places. So we got a fly catch made at first by Vinnie Moore. One away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, pitcher number 2, Zion McCoy. So Lake Buena Vista, of course, this is the first year that they have been in existence. And this will be the first meeting here at Wekiva between Wekiva and the Vipers. And this was not a home and away series like many of our other opponents are. This is the one and only opportunity that we'll have to see these two teams play each other this year. And so obviously whenever, just like Wekiva, when Wekiva was in its first year back in 2007, we got a wild pitch that is well inside and high. That'll bring up a 3-0 count. And just as Wekiva was in 2007 when they had their initial season, Lake Buena Vista has no seniors. So that means that it's just all freshmen, sophomores, and juniors, and we're going to get 4 straight balls. McCoy walks to first. Next at the plate for the Mustangs, left fielder number 15, Jackson Zapata.
A preseason, if you will, then, for Lake Buena.
Yeah, I mean, it's of course late season, but again, you know, it's a difficult situation to be in. Wekiva remembers being in this situation quite well, and yeah, it's tough to build a program from scratch, and so that's a tall order for anybody. Kevin Payton, the head coach, obviously this is first season with the Vipers, and again, you know, Wekiva went through these growing pains as well. Baseball is a particularly challenging sport if you don't have a lot of guys on your team who have a ton of, you know, little league or club ball or you know, that kind of experience. It's a difficult. I mean, it's compared to all the other sports, it has such a high barrier to entry. I mean, basketball, soccer, those sports certainly have their skills as well. And, to be clear, it takes a lot of practice to get good at any of them. But at least with some of the other sports, you can play them at a moderate level with relatively little training. Even if you get kids that come in freshman year and it's their first time ever playing the sport, you give them a year or two on JV and they're ready to play at the varsity level if they really put the work in. Baseball, like I said, if you don't have, some ringers on your team who have extensive Little League experience, I mean, you got to throw a ball 60 feet and hit a target that's about 6 or 8 square feet. And if you can't do that, you can't play. I mean, it's a really high barrier to entry. And like I said, if you walk in the door freshman year and this is your first time doing it, I mean, just to build up the muscle memory, much less the skill play, it's a tricky thing. Lord knows I can't do it.
Mm-hmm. And I'm a little late to the party here. Did our pitcher return tonight, or?
Yeah, we've got, so far Zion McCoy has been the only pitcher that Wekiva has seen. This is now Luis Ramos pitching for this will be the third pitcher for Lake Buena Vista.
I had heard from students in class. I guess our starting pitcher got injured or something.
Oh, I'm not.
I might be a little late to the party.
Yeah, I'm not sure whether McCoy was originally planned to pitch tonight, but he has pitched the whole game so far.
Okay. Oh.
And not a super clean play by the Vipers, but it'll work out as Zapata tripped on his way to first base. So Vipers get away with one. The world will never know whether Zapata would have beaten that throw to first or not. Play made at first, and that puts 2 away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate will be catcher number 17, Luis Perez. It does at least provide an opportunity for McCoy to move on to second. So something, something good came out of that play.
Give a quick shout out to Chef McCransky, who's at the Orlando City game. He made television in the crowd shot. My student just showed me. Sorry.
Oh, wow.
I know he tunes into these later on, so.
Fouled away down the third base line. That'll bring up a 1-1 count with a runner on second. 10-0 the score, so a low strike there. That one fell into just the edge of the strike zone. 1-2 count.
This is completely random, but Josiah, one of my students that just left, wanted to know, I don't know why he thinks you know, Mark, I'm sorry, but what's the cleaning technique for the uniforms here?
I'm going to assume a lot of color-safe bleach. I mean, the pants don't have any color on them, so you can bleach those the regular way, and those are probably what gets the dirtiest of all. It's a fastball that starts to fall a little bit but stays too high, brings up a full count for Perez. Now, of course, if nothing changes here, we could have a 4.5 inning game, as Wekiva has established a 10-run lead as that one goes out of play and the count stays 3-2. Of course, the rules in high school, it's a 7-inning regulation game, and the game stops after 10-run differential in 5 innings, or 4.5 if it's the home team, or 15 runs in 3 innings. But that has to be 3 whole innings, no matter which team is ahead. Yeah, that's another dropped ball. That will not count as an error because it was foul. If it had been fair, that would have been an error, but as a foul ball, that just gets written off as an uncounted strike, since it was strike 2.
The botched attempt doesn't change the run or anything there?
No, no, that goes down as nothing statistically, other than a strike pitch for the pitcher. it's important that that it happened in the sense that it counts toward the pitching stats. Other than that, though, it does nothing. Ball 4, and Perez will walk to first. And is a courtesy runner for the catcher, number 12, Dom Sanchez. Runners at 1 and 2 now, and next at the plate for the Mustangs is designated hitter, number 18, Aiden Brandenburg. Starting to get a little cool here at Mustang Field. Had a beautiful day today, high of 79, and as the sun set, of course, coming down a little bit, and we have a force out available at third, and it is made. And that takes us to the end of the 4th inning. 4 runs scored on 2 hits with 2 LBV errors, leaving 2 on base. And the score now stands 10-0 at the end of 4 innings. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the beginning of the 5th inning, and that means it's time for the 5th inning stretch. So stand up, stretch your legs, and join us now for Take Me Out to the Ball Game. Take me out to the ball game, take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if I never get back, for it's root for the Mustangs. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Back with more in a moment.
Looks like a ball 1 there. The top of the 5th here.
That's headed out of play. And let's see, this is the second position in the lineup, shortstop number 5, Luis Ramos. That's headed straight to center field, and that's going to be a hit, the first of the night. Luis Ramos singles to center field. He's safe at first. Next at the plate for LBV, left fielder number 20, Brian Stockwell. I think I may try to increase the gamma on that backstop camera just a little bit.
It's getting a little dark out here. And oh, hit a duck there just in time. You're definitely talking about the weather. If we can keep the evenings nice and windy like this, summer might not be too bad. I guess the advantage of the night games here.
There we go. All right, so the gamma is turned up a little bit on the backstop camera so that it looks like we've got two of the same camera now.
There we go.
Backstop was a lot darker than the third base camera.
That 10-year-old GoPro still hanging in there.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's one of those things that, like, we could set up one of the expensive Panasonics behind the backstop, but the GoPros are frankly better behind the backstop because they've got that wide angle.
A little more bulletproof, too.
Well, that's true. Yeah, they're made for high-intensity stuff, so they can take it if a ball comes flying into the backstop as we get a swinging strike, too. And, yeah, I mean, it's a better choice. And you see a lot of fans, a lot of parents who are, keeping film for their student, especially if they have college prospects. A lot of parents will strap cameras to the backstop here. And they typically use GoPros as well, if not a cell phone. Stockwell walks to first. Next at the plate for the Vipers will be pitcher and now third baseman, number 13, Alex Galan. Following a little meeting of the minds at the mound.
We got a cowbell out here.
And it looks like we've got a relief pitcher coming in. Now on the mound for the Mustangs, number 13, Ryan Wilkerson. So we'll get a little break here while Wilkerson warms up. Wilkerson's a little bit of a dynasty here at Wekiva. Ryan Wilkerson, of course, has been an integral part of the baseball team for some years now. And his sister Allie graduated a couple years ago as a participant in our choral and musical theater programs and is now doing that kind of stuff at Athens Theater, I think. She did some shows as a stage manager. And
speaking of, we got the alumni thing coming up. You going to be in that?
No, I don't know anything about that.
They're going to do the chorus show and everything, but it's going to be old students that come back. And then some of the original staff are going to pick out music.
Oh, well, yes. You're talking about the chorus concert, of course, yes. So, yeah.
I don't know if you heard about that in your house
Yes, yes. My wife being the chorus teacher does clue me into these things. As a matter of fact, as an honorary inaugural faculty member, or at least staff member, I don't actually work here. And I am not on the Orange County payroll, but as someone who has been involved at Wekiva in the athletic program since the very first year, I am an honorary inaugural staff member, so I got to pick a song as well.
Freebird, right?
No, actually, that would have been an excellent choice, although I think Mrs. Barchi would eventually like to get home from that concert. So no, my selection is going to be the encore that they do at the end of the show, which will be none other than "So Long and Thanks for All the Fish" from Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy.
That's awesome.
That's in play. It's going deep, and it finds the hole. RBI double. And the Vipers are on the board from Alex Galan. Next at the plate, first baseman, number 22, Vinny Moore. And that ball gets a little bit away from the plate, but close enough that the Mustangs are able to hold the runners at 2 and 3. So it looks like we are going to have to play the bottom of the 5th inning after all. That cuts the Mustang lead to 9, which is insufficient to trigger the 10-run rule. That's in play. Should be a 4-3 ground out, and it is, but does still score the run. Play is made on the throw from Varney to Simon for the 4-3 out. One away for the Vipers. It does score a run, though. Next up will be catcher number 9, Juan Romero. Beautiful swing, but an even more beautiful pitch. 1-1. Another chop and a miss. 2 strikes on the board now. Well, at least 2 strikes on your little scoreboard. The strike lights are broken on our infield scoreboard.
The Titantron. One day.
Well, what I really want is one of those 7-inning scoreboards with the Jumbotron on it. And Romero gets caught looking. Wilkerson records the strikeout looking. 2 away for the Vipers. Next at the plate for LBV, center fielder number 11, Zach Fournier. First pitch is fouled away. That's going to fall almost out of play. That would have been pretty impressive if who's that? That's Simon. Yes, if Simon had been able to get there, that would have been Superman running speed. Technically still in the ballpark, but effectively out of play. That's a high outside ball. 1-1 count. This season has been kind of up and down for Wekiva. They're sitting at a 7-10 record now.
Oh, he dropped it. Oh, man. 16 fumbled there.
Now at the plate for the Vipers, designated hitter number 23, Jeremy Carlucci Harris.
Yeah, I only hear this passively because a couple of the baseball guys are in my classes, but I know the season's definitely been on the upswing. No pun intended there this year. I think a couple of the losses were really close.
Yeah, 7-10 record, so still sub 500, but things looking better As we get strike three, Wilkerson records the strikeout, and that takes us to the middle of the fifth inning. Three runs scored on two hits with one Mustang error, leaving one on base, and that has cut the Wekiva lead to 10-3, and so we will be playing the bottom of the fifth in just a moment. We'll be back. At the bottom of the fifth inning, the Mustangs begin in the ninth position of their lineup with shortstop number 16, Alejandro Rodriguez. And we'll open with a strike. Second pitch high and outside, bringing up a 1-1 count. In play. Throw to first is made in time. 5-3 ground out is made to Moore. One away for the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva. They return to the top of the card with second baseman number 3, Dalton Varney.
There's Dalton.
And it's bunted foul for strike one.
Way out there. Thought that was a strike, but no grunt, I guess, so no strike.
No, this is a quiet umpire. This is a quiet umpire. Well, and they're
I'm used to the cartoonish.
yeah, and there a lot of umpires will only really grunt it if it's a strike looking, because if the batter swings at it, then God and everybody knows that it's a strike.
Yeah.
Everybody, you can tell that it's a strike. It doesn't really matter whether it was in the strike zone or not. That's foul ball. Goes straight to Coach Scudero. Gets to show off his arm there.
I don't even think he flinched at that. That's going to be a full count there.
Yes, indeed. Varney walks to first. Next to the plate for the Mustangs, center fielder, number 1, C.J. Goodwin.
And Dalton still second, and the guy got in his way from moving to third. Not sure what happened there. Sorry for the camera there.
Camera is still dutifully recording.
I think
home
Josh
plate.
Messiah fell asleep.
So it looks like the umpires are going to award Varney third base for fielder interference.
No screen blocks in this, right?
No, not in baseball. It's considered a non-contact sport. Going to strike at the plate that is dropped. That's going to first. Play at home, safe. Varney beats the throw home, and that will put 11 on the board for Wekiva. Meanwhile, Goodwin is safe at first on the throw. Next to the plate for the Mustangs. Checking into the lineup, number 4, Lucas Stevens. So that'd be for Greg Jones, and this would be position 3 in the lineup.
Goodwin keeping his property there. Oh, catcher going to slip that, and Goodwin's off the second.
Chopping at that one. It's going to third. And we'll pause for a timeout. Now on the mound for the Vipers, number 20, Brian Stockwell. And at the plate for the Mustangs, number 31, Carlos Fonseca. Once again at the plate for the Mustangs, number 31, Carlos Fonseca. And on a roughly handled ball one, each runner will get an extra base. That puts runners at 2 and 3 now.
Told her gonna try a new strategy with our camera up. I told him don't forget third base. Some of my juniors, this is like their first baseball event.
Yeah, well, and I would say that, from a broadcast production standpoint, baseball is probably the most difficult sport to cover. The ball goes very fast and very unpredictably. And we only have 2 camera angles. Of course, in a pro game, you probably have at least 5. But it's a tough thing. Stockwell records a swinging strikeout. 2 away from the Mustangs. Next at the plate for Wekiva, pitcher, number 13, Ryan Wilkerson.
Yeah, I've been not a lazy teacher, but probably consistent. I'm like left and right. Volleyball, basketball, football. So it's a fun thing, though. It's fun to learn this. I think Goodwin's coming home for that.
He sure is.
Ooh. And
That's going to be a walk-off right there. There's your game. And on the wild pitch score, that will be a walk-off finisher for this game. 13-3 is the final score. We'd like to thank everyone for coming out to support your Mustang and Viper athletes. Again, we'd like to invite you to come out on Saturday at 11. The Mustangs will face Gateway, and then make sure your schedule is updated, as we will have the Mustangs taking on Evans at 7 o'clock, but get here a little early for that so you can help us celebrate senior night.
and Dante's head.
There we go. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Wekiva Sports, and bookmark WekivaMustangs.com for all of your scores, schedules, and more. For those of you in the ballpark, please drive carefully and arrive home safely. Have a great night. For those of you watching us online, thanks for tuning in. We appreciate you joining us on YouTube or the NFHS network. I'd also like to thank our friends at Wekiva TV Broadcast Production for bringing you the video aspects of today's game. Keith Dickerson is the director of that program, his entire team, helping us out all season. We'll be definitely back. I'm not sure we're going to be able to live stream on Saturday, but we will definitely be back with you next week on Monday and Tuesday for our senior nights coming up, and for On behalf of everyone here at Wekiva, thanks for joining us. This has been a presentation of Wekiva High School Athletics in association with Orange Technical College, both a proud part of Orange County Public Schools. Good night from Mustang Field.